This is Shadow Blade, one of the worst weapons in the game, but one-handed weapon with 2d8 damage and advantage against slightly obscure targets should be OP, right?
Wrong.
It's completely bugged and unusable. Advantage against obscured or heavily obscured targets doesn't work. Blade is dippable, but can't be dipped in fire. And just to even wield this blade, we need to sacrifice ring slot to summon it. And you also need to keep concentration, because otherwise...
It's gone. It's all gone.
Before you toss this blade in the garbage, I challenged myself to create a build with unique and fun playstyle, and found secret solution to achieve more than 500 damage every turn, without haste and other shenanigans, and made this broken monster. Coolest part, the build comes online pretty quickly. We just need 3 items. But first of all, let's jump straight into character creation and start as level 1 Warlock, while picking elf or half-elf race for fake ancestry to get protection from being charmed or put into sleep. And also I like wood elf variant for additional movement speed, Eldritch Blast and minor illusion cantrips. You can start as the Fiend for additional hit points in early game, but for complete build we want to use the Great Old One subclass. Take Hex and Armor of Agathos with Guild Artisan background for persuasion checks, and sprinkle it with Deception and Intimidation. 8 Strength, 14 Dexterity, 15 Constitution with +1 bonus, 8 Intelligence, 10 Wisdom, and 15 Charisma with +2 bonus. And you're ready to go into Vault of Baldur's Gate 3. After arriving to the beach you will be already level 2. And pick new spell Hellish Rebuke. As Eldritch Invocations we want to have Agonizing Blast, and most of the time you will be picking Repelling Blast. But for this build I recommend picking Devil's Sight. As for gameplay part, it's pretty simple. We cast Armor of Agathos at the start of the day, and then at the start of the combat, use Hex with bonus action. Then we just Eldritch Blast our enemies. Eldritch Blast will do additional damage from Hex, and when we kill our enemy, Hex will be back to the right table, and we can recast it without consuming any spell slot. So pretty easy and straightforward demolishing of your enemies. Until we hit level 3. That's where you need to pick 2 spells, Misty Step and Mirror Image. But you can pick only one, so to pick 2 you need to go into Spell Changer and change your Hex for Mirror Image, because now you will transition into melee playstyle and pick Pact of the Blade. Pact of the Blade will bind your weapon, and it will use Charisma modifier instead of Strength or Dexterity. Or we can use different Pact weapon action to create Great Sword, for example. Use it when you're short on good gear. Fight won't change a lot. We still want to start fight from the range with Eldritch Blast, and it will do additional damage from our Charisma thanks to Agonizing Blast. And then just join the combat. In combat you can cast Mirror Image, and even with pet and early gear our armor class will be more than 20, and it will be almost impossible to hit us. But build will shine with party members, of course. We want a Warlock or Sorcerer in the party to cast Darkness. Darkness will act like a wall, you can't shoot through it. But as Warlock with Devil's Sight we can easily stand inside and shoot with advantage and also hit with advantage. So just stay in the darkness and chill until you destroy your enemies. If you go out and enemy hits you, they will take damage from Armor of Agathos, and you can react with Hellish Rebuke to burn them down. And also in a fight with a party, when our armor class is so high, enemies will most likely target your allies. So Mirror Image will be not just for 3 turns, or 1 turn if you've been attacked by a lot of targets, but for whole 10 turns you're basically invincible. This class is already pretty powerful, so we don't need any additional power spikes on level 4, that's why we're picking Paladin now. And as melee character you need to pick Vengeance Paladin, and on level 4 you will end Act 1. But if you forget important items in this act, you won't be able to become broken like this. First of all, in Druid Grove we need Kaga's Amulet. You can get it directly from Kaga. But you need to be careful, because most important part, to make this tiefling girl Arabella survive, or it will be impossible to get Shadow Blade.
And that's why I would be sneaking.
You see, Swiper? Swiper, no swiping! Swiper, no swiping!
Oh, man.
After getting very good amulet that will coat our weapon in 1d6 poison damage, go straight to the goblin camp. And right behind this door, that we can completely skip by jumping nearby, lockpick next door. And in this room there will be gilded chest with nice amulet that will provide Misty Step. Also Mintaro's armor is really nice for constitution saving throw advantage. Also in the Underdark, at Selûnite outpost you can lockpick this door and get a very nice helmet from the gilded chest that will increase power of our smites. And at this time of the game, I recommend picking one-handed sword with a shield. Also when you arrive at the Grand Forge, meet Nier, take all his gear. Insanely powerful boots for our build and pretty nice sword. Depending on amulet we already can get 3 Misty Steps, but don't go into Act 2. First of all, don't forget to go into Githyanki Crochet, and right in the Inquisitor chamber there's elegant chest. If you try to take it, Githyankis won't be happy, but will happily take this chest by themselves. So we can take Githyanki on the right and steal this chest if you don't want to fight them. In this chest there's strange conduit ring with additional psychic damage. But anyway, we're ready to arrive to Act 2. Coolest part, right in this act we will be insanely OP and finally get our build. And you probably arrived to this act at level 6. So on level 5 pick Paladin with dueling fighting class for 2 additional damage with each hit, while unlocking smites at the same time, and pick any spells you like. And on level 6 with additional level in Paladin you will unlock WoW Enmity, insanely broken ability, which uses your channel Oath Charge that recharges on a short rest. Instead of casting it on enemy, right now you can cast it on yourself to get advantage on every attack for 10 turns in a row. Also, to optimize your damage, don't forget to go into reaction tab and turn on all smites. So whenever you tune any attack, you will get this prompt and you can decide, do you want to use your spell slot to increase your damage with a smite or don't. With this build you will definitely feel pretty nicely in Act 2. But to start playing your Psychic Shadowblade Warrior, you need to obtain some items first. So let's do it. For this build I'm using adamantine shield that you can acquire in Act 1 to get protection from critical hits, but honestly you can use any shield you like. First items is really easily obtainable, just go to the Last Light Inn and talk with Questry Master Tali. Buy Cloak of Protection from her. In the same place at the count stand you can find Daemon, and by completing his quest you can get pretty nice helmet and also gloves, and then go to the Moonrise Towers. Inside Royal Moonglow will sell very nice glaive. Definitely buy it, because you're finally ready to get Shadow Blade. To get this kinda secret item you need to complete quest, and I will explain how to get it kinda without spoilers. So exit Moonrise Towers and go straight. You will find cemetery and these stairs. You will find Arabella over here. Talk with her and then jump on this cliff. But make sure to ask Arabella to wait in your camp while you're doing her task. Destroy door, go inside, and you will find object of your quest. Then go to your camp, and first of all talk to wizards. Arabella should be nearby. And then wait few days before telling you found what she needs. Or make sure you can pass checks in Arabella dialogue. If you will be nicely with Arabella, she will give you this Shadow Ring to summon Shadow Blade. So we got this nice combination. We got Shadow Blade, that is concentration spell, and we will add additional psychic damage with Strange Conduit Ring. Now just remove every concentration spell you have, because from now on you will concentrate on Shadow Blade. 2d8 one-handed weapon. It's invisible, therefore looking pretty cool. While it can be scaled from strength or dexterity, for this build I will use Pact Blade for charisma scaling, of course. But why I decided to make a build with this garbage blade in the first place? I looked on a wiki and there is not a lot of immune enemies to psychic damage. And how many enemies are resistant to psychic damage? None. So sounds like this blade can be cool, especially with advantage against any target who is not on the light right now. And just by adding Divine Smite we can already do 50 damage in one hit. But advantage does not work, sword got no enchantment and basically does not scale in the late game. And we sacrifice a ring slot and all cool spells to concentrate on sword that can be taken out when we sleep on ice. Or you can try deep dippable weapon in fire and get no fire damage. Still, Still, for Act 2 this damage is pretty nice, and you will have lots of fun with this build, especially when you take one more level in Paladin and add 2 points in Charisma. And upon reaching level 8 with one more level in Paladin, we will get Misty Step and one more attack. Please don't forget that some of your smites is concentration spells. So Paladin spell list will be with Command and Thunderous Smite. Give Drake Throat Glaive to your companion to cast elemental weapon on you. At the start of the day get Armor of Agathos, and if there is no cleric in your party you can cast 8 yourself. Make sure to bind your sword and then short rest to recharge it. Also in Act 2 I recommend going to Hobgoblin Trader in Moonrise Towers and buying all potions of Angelic Reprieve. Then you can level up your companion, it will recharge shop, and this way you can buy as much as you like. And to not wait for level ups, you can go to Wizards and respec your companion, so you can do it indefinitely. Playstyle will be kinda same as in first act. You want to have darkness from your companion, and by standing in the darkness and going outside from time to time, with active WoW enmity you will have advantage and nice hit chance, and destroy your enemies. So it's looking pretty nice, and we already got to around 80 average damage, which is enough to one-shot enemies in Act 2. But even with this power, make sure to go into darkness at the end of your turn with Misty Step if needed. And that's how our build lined up. Strong blades that require concentration is protected by mirror image from physical attacks, our race protecting us from sleep and being charmed, and boots protecting from difficult terrain, while armor helps keeping concentration just in case. Still, there will be some hard situations where you just can't control anything and will lose concentration and lose your blade. So make sure to short rest before combat to be able to equip a blade in combat. But now it's time to get our last piece of puzzle to become broken. It will be in the end of Act 2 and you will anyway complete Shard Trials. Get this or similar armor with advantage on Constitution saving throws to keep our concentration, and also Shard Helmet is really nice for additional bonus to Constitution saving throws. And after arriving to this hole, we will double our damage initially, because here lies a secret item that is really easy to miss. At least I missed it on my first playthrough. On this table you will see a Resonance Stone. Character will say I feel glorious, so just take a stone in your pocket. And that's basically last piece of a puzzle. For the first build. Yeah, surprise, surprise. When I was making first build, I got a really bright idea.
So bright, you got to wonder why nobody never thought about it before.
And second build will be insanely broken. If we read carefully, we will see that nearby creatures will be vulnerable to psychic damage. Our sword doing psychic damage, and vulnerability means everyone will take double damage from our attacks. But when we get back to the first enemy we see, we can easily identify that the stone got no effect on them. So on my first playthrough I just threw the stone away. But now I found that for some reason all nearby creatures doesn't count undead. Also it doesn't work on constructs, but they are invulnerable to psychic damage anyway. So just by having the stone in your pocket, 99% of enemies need to deal with 169 average damage per turn. And that's at level 8 with just 3 items.
Oh my god!
Keeping almost all our enemies vulnerable is incredibly broken power, while at the same time having advantage on every hit, insane armor class, insane damage, but there's still one little problem. We can easily lose all our power, just by getting prone from a shield bash and losing everything in the most important moment. But that creates tension, and by playing this build I got a lot of cool epic moments that I still remember. And also upon reaching Act 3, most enemies will be vulnerable to psychic damage, and it will be just a cakewalk. So to finish our build, and on Honor mode we will take 4 levels in Sorcerer, while on any other mode we want to have 2 more levels in Warlock to get 3 attacks per action. Pick any spell you like, but I recommend getting Shield for more protection, and never pick Wild Magic subclass. I hope you remember this moment as I do. And you're still looking for spells that uses no concentration at all, like Knock or Scorching Ray. And if you went for Sorcerer Road, on last level pick Savage Attacker to increase damage. But most importantly, I recommend respecting your character at level 9 and get Sorcerer as level 1 character. This will give you proficiency in Constitution saving throws and will increase likelihood of keeping your concentration. And I hope you bought enough of these potions. Don't worry, you can buy them in Act 3 too. All you need to do right now is to create sorcery points from spell slots of level 1 and level 2. Use potion and in 10 seconds spell slots will be restored and you will keep your sorcery points. But Shadowblade won't reset, so you need a real short rest. And then don't forget to create spell slots from sorcery points. Engage in combat and strike enemies with Thunder Smite from level 1 spell slot. You will have loads of good time with this build, while your single problem will be only constructs. This build is completely fair and will work no matter what. But the next interaction I found may be a little bit cheesy and possibly will go away after patch 7 will go live. Anyway, get ready your Shadowblades for build number 2. And we need to get back a little bit to act number 2. We just got our Shadowblade with its biggest problem. We need to keep concentration, but I know how to fix it.
Interesting if true.
But to make second build really broken, first of all we need the right levels. And instead of Warlock we're starting as Paladin of Vengeance, with exactly same 5 levels in him. Then on level 6 we're getting Sorcerer with Shield and Magic Missile, Twinned and Extended Metamagic with Quicken Spell on level 8. And our spells of choice will be Scorching Ray, Mirror Image and Enlarge Reduce, while picking Savage Attacker feat at the level 9. And instead of Charisma we will focus on Strength, so we can get 22 at second act. And don't forget there's kinda printable versions in Discord, link in the description. And to make our build really OP we want 2 additional items. Good news, all of them in Last Light In. Gloves of Balanced Hands can be bought from Quartermaster Tali, while second item will be in a cow. So just get this hat and you're ready. To enlarge yourself, increase your damage output and still one-shot all enemies. And instead of having low chance on your control spells, unleash Scorching Ray on your enemies, and with help of your new hat, you will gain 10 arcane equity stacks, and will increase these chances almost to 100%, to easy disable targets and have 100% critical strike chance. And if you know how a game works, you probably got a question. Spot, how are you using control spells that uses concentration with Shadowblade right now? Well, first of all, it's not Shadowblade.
That's nice. Then what?
But that's only because I forgot to talk with wizards and buy a new Hirelink. Then give this Hirelink Shadow Ring, summon the blade and dismiss Hirelink into Fuge. Then talk with wizards again and buy same Hirelink again. Look, Shadowblade is off cooldown now, so instead of short rest we can basically buy a new Hirelink, summon the blade and dismiss and buy same Hirelink again. But of course I did it 2 times, because that's how this bug works. And now I got 2 Shadow Blades that require no concentration at all, and now I can freely use my control spells while dual wielding insanely broken powerful item.
Is something wrong?
With what?
With anything?
Is there something wrong with anything?
But I know how to make this build even more broken to achieve 500 damage each turn.
Please, continue.
And right now actually we can throw this ring into garbage. Shadow Blades can be dropped on the ground and by using Twin Spell, enchant it with Fire Elemental Weapon. Get some powerful ring in freed up spell slot, but it still can't be dipped in fire. But who needs these dips? Because when you enlarge yourself, additional damage will be psychic. And there's one more spell that works like this, Hunter's Mark. Yeah, it will add psychic damage too. It's literally broken, because on each crit we'll roll our damage dice twice. And main strategy is same, we're using Scorching Ray, and yeah, by the way, we get advantage on each ray because we're using WoW Enmity as Vengeance Paladin. And then after gaining Fire Equity, you just fly away with bonus action as Sorcerer and get back on the next turn. Disable your enemies and destroy them. Damage is still far away from 500, but the next step will transform us into
Meltman, the power to melt.
So just listen and you will have damage like this.
Shut up and take my money!
And smites that doing more than 100 damage each hit, with just one single step. I remembered interaction that Hunter's Mark using psychic damage. So why not to finish this build at 3 levels of Rogue and do additional 4d6 with our sneak attack, because enemy is vulnerable, or 8d6 on crit. I hope Larian won't fix it.
What have you done?
By using Cloud Giant Strength Potion to get 27 strength, our average damage will be more than 500. And there is no one in this game who got more than 500 health, even on Honor Mode. mod. Hunter's Mark is not optimal because you need to cast it, and because we one-shot enemies anyway, it's better to focus on Enlarge. But if enemies standing on high ground far away, cast Hunter's Mark while you're standing at the bottom. It will give you fly action from the Sorcerer, use another bonus action to fly to the top and melt your enemy. And you will always get 100% on hold person and other control spells, because you gain max acuity stacks just by attacking with fire enchanted swords. Want to force enemies to drop their swords? Easy, 100% success rate. But most of the time again, you will just enjoy melting your foes to the ground. And I hope you enjoyed this completely broken build. But if you wanna cool party members for this dude, look no further than videos on the screen right now. Drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next videos.